There was like 300 people on the dance floor just having sex with each other. It was.
I don't not just.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Immediately stopped our conversation.
We did, indeed.
Not television appropriate.
Right?
No.
If you want to know what we were talking about, text who your favorite anchor here at Queer News Tonight, and we'll tell you about it privately.
It's 10 feet off stage. People won't see it, but
That's fun. So we're going to do Ariana Center's 6th anniversary celebration.
Yes, I'm so
Okay.
excited.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Damn it.
And lots of news.
yep.
And some breaking news, which I'm going to do right now.
Yay.
I'm trying to swallow, by the way.
I'll teach you.
All right.
Oh no.
Wait, we started exactly the way I wanted to.
No.
Let's queer up breaking news. Sisters, we fly! Backstage footage of Hocus Pocus 2 filming leaks. Yes, Hocus Pocus 2 is currently filming in Newport, Rhode Island. And some footage of a scene filmed just last night has leaked this afternoon. In it, the Sanderson sisters have interrupted a costume contest at Salem Scarefest. And with the spell, Ase Entopai, the fans will recognize from the first movie, the tricky trio enthrall the crowd. They then break into One Way or Another by Blondie before flying off over the crowd.
Well, I'm sure it will be wicked good. I just wish SJP would do a Square Pegs movie. That's all.
We're talking about Hocus Pocus.
I know.
Red.
I know. I miss Square
Hopefully we're gonna
Peg.
keep showing up. You see them fly off the stage and the tethered wing strings, and somebody's going to get fired for this.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's going to get fired because this is a private set.
Yeah.
Somebody's iPhone video.
Well, I was immediately in when I clicked on it. I'm like, what's going? You know, like I was a fly on the wall. Like, what's going on here? You know?
Yeah, Bette Midler was doing the lead in the singing, and we wish we could show you the sound of it. It's not very good, because this is definitely pirate, but it's certainly super interesting. So Hocus Pocus, and I love it because it's November and it gets us to think about Halloween for 2022. Already, I'm ready. There we go. All right, well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It is 8 p.m. Thursday, November 18th, 2021. We're a week away from Thanksgiving. Wow. And we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you're going to see it and hear it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the partnership between Happening Out Television Network and Hotspots Magazine. Hotspots is celebrating 36 years, that's almost as old as me, of the LGBTQ plus experience. We bring you the best of LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our community.
You know, we're in the news business, so we believe in truth. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson. So let's welcome John Hayden, a reporter for South Florida Gay News, covering politics, arts, and philanthropic organizations. John has been a journalist for 26 years now. Your story's beginning to fall apart.
Since he was 10.
Yeah, much of it covering the stupidity and scandals of Hollywood. He's interviewed nearly every big name in TV, movies, and music, and considers the time he spent with Cher, and his boyfriend says the same thing, as the best 4 minutes of his life. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Al. Let's welcome anchor Peter Bisuito, an internationally known comedian, writer, producer, director, and actor, selling out shows in 5 countries, including his 2 sold-out shows at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts in Fort Lauderdale. 2 years ago, he created and wrote a pilot episode for a new sitcom called Vent and Chester, which went on to win awards at film festivals. Unfortunately, the pandemic shut down the project, so Peter decided to rewrite the script into a 2-act play, which will be performed this holiday season in Wilton Manors. He is also a huge advocate on dog rescue and uses his new YouTube video podcast called Ask a Naked Guy Crocheting to raise money in rescuing dogs from slaughterhouses in China. An awesome cause and an awesome guy. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's welcome anchor Rajee Narine-Singh, a famous transgender activist, actress, author, mystique, and reality TV personality. She is of multiracial descent, and she has appeared on more than 35 television shows across the globe. Welcome, Rajee.
Thank you. 37 now. No, well, maybe. But it's great to be here, and this is a great time for the trans community. Trans Pride is Saturday, so I'm really excited. So now I have the honor of welcoming anchor Gregg Shapiro, a 1999 inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 2 short story collections and 5 books of poetry. As an entertainment journalist, his celebrity interviews and music reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ plus and mainstream publications and websites. And his Screen Saver movie review column can be found in South Florida Gay News, San Francisco Bay Area reporter, Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, thank you. I can't read. .com and more. Good evening, Gregg. And listen, why haven't you interviewed why yet?
One of these days. We'll do it one of these days. Hello out there. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Thursday, November 18th.
Well, let's begin by queering up business. Drag queens on Twitch are being swatted while they stream. Elix, a Las Vegas drag queen and prominent Twitch streamer, is the latest victim in a series of swatting pranks targeting drag queens on the popular live streaming service. Elix was streaming on the evening of November 9th when police arrived at her home, banging on her door and demanding she come out with her hands up. Fortunately for Elix, she was able to speak with the police, and it quickly became apparent that the call they had received was a prank. In this scenario, someone calls the police with a false report of a dangerous situation, leading officers to arrive at the target home, something that has proven fatal on multiple occasions. Elix is the 6th member of the Stream Queens, a group of drag streamers on Twitch, who have been the target of swatting since September. Stream Queens founder Deer told NBC News that she's saddened by, quote, the continued threats, harassment, and invasions of privacy, end quote. Both of her collective and other marginalized groups facing similar treatment. She said, quote, I hope that through these amazing people persevering in face of hate, we can inspire people to still be strong and be themselves in spite of anyone trying to stop us or shame us for being genuine and honest, end quote.
Okay, so I have to claim ignorance. I have never heard of swatting before. What exactly is swatting?
It's an online prank where, let's say you do something on your show and you're going to start to broadcast live. Let's say on Twitch you could do it, but think of it like Facebook Live.
Okay.
And you're doing it live, and somebody dislikes or they think it's funny, and they call the police and report, here's your address that you're doing this Facebook Live or this Twitch streaming on, and then the police come thinking some kind of crime is occurring or violence is occurring, and
but it can be very dangerous. Yeah. I watch the ID channel all the time, and I think I've seen like 2 stories of people dying from it. This one guy, He was the same thing. The police showed up, the SWAT team. He's coming out with his hands up, not knowing what the hell's going on, and they ended up shooting him dead.
Do you remember the story of the black woman that the police came in and they shot her? Well, basically they're coming in all force necessary.
So if I'm broadcasting live on Facebook, how do people know where I live? When they call the cops, how do they know where to
They have ways to do it.
Yeah, this happened to Lil Wayne. I mean, he's straight, but this has been a celebrity issue for a while. Lil Wayne's Miami Beach home happened like twice in 3 weeks a few years ago.
What are they telling the cops? What crime are they telling the cops is happening?
Shots fired. They heard a gunshot.
I just heard a gunshot.
Gotcha.
At your house.
Well, Lil Wayne,
in the story I saw, the guy pretended like it was him calling from the address, and he's like, I have a gun, and I'm going to shoot up my family. You know, he was like acting like he was there.
And the amazing thing is, think of the expense. This is a prank call, and they're bringing the SWAT team there. Who's paying for that?
It's my greatest fear in the middle of the night when I'm not made up and the police barge in.
You're beautiful always. Always.
That's a fantasy of mine.
But no, it's dangerous because the cops are, going through the street, so a pedestrian could get hit or there could be a car accident.
Absolutely.
It's dangerous to the person who's innocent, but they're coming to, and it's dangerous for the cops because the person inside doesn't know what's going on, and they might actually have a gun and be thinking they're going to stand their ground and defend themselves. It's dangerous across the board. It's a huge problem in Hollywood, even when you're not broadcasting live. It's just a thing.
The representation this is not probably a homophobic act. It is just ignorance.
So aren't these calls being traced from where they originated?
The story that I saw, they found him. He had done it to a number of people. He was like habitual. Yeah, and they finally got him.
What's the
but
penalty for
it
something
took time. It took time. It didn't happen overnight.
All right, we move on. Next, we queer up education. High school students oppose school board protesters claiming book teaches kids how to be gay. I thought Al wrote that book. Parents and other area residents showed up at a community high school board meeting in suburban Chicago Monday night, holding signs that said, quote, "No porn," and attacking one specific book that had been approved for school libraries in the district called Gender Queer, an autobiographical graphic novel by Maya Kobabe. Parent Terry Newsom said at the meeting that the book is, quote, liberal code for teaching children how to perform oral sex, anal sex, and wear strap-on dildos. Another father, who was not named, told the Chicago Sun-Times that the book made him sick. He hadn't read the book, of course. He had just watched a YouTube video about it, so he did his research. But students weren't having any of it. Senior Lauren Pierrette said, quote, "Let's not present getting rid of gender queer as censoring our children from sex. It's homophobia," end quote. Amen, sister.
Out of the mouths of porn addicts. How would he know any of this stuff? Clearly, he has his own experience, Mr. Newsom.
I mean, you got to learn sometime, too.
And listen, neither one of my parents were transgender. Like, really? Like, it's not something that you could teach somebody.
Yeah.
You are what you are.
There's the ignorance that's ignorance, though.
Yeah.
Because their assumption there is that being same-sex or identifying as gay or lesbian, whatever it might be, is a choice. And because it's a choice, we don't want our children to be exposed to it because it's a choice. Well, of course, it's a false premise.
It is.
And it's a very difficult premise to defeat because they're so ignorant. And it's very difficult to overcome that ignorance because the only way you overcome that ignorance is to educate. And one of the places that you want to use to educate is books. Right. So they're banning the books to prevent the education that reinforces their ignorance. It is a never-ending cycle of ignorance.
And it's just part of their strategy to keep distracting us with little battles here, a school board meeting here, a school board meeting here, while they also do a second prong at our state capitals. I mean, they are being obnoxious and dangerous at every single level of the process.
I'm hearing in cable. Of course, I'm a watcher, consumer of a lot of Fox News. I know thy enemy. I think I read that in Genesis. And you're in a situation where if you don't pay attention to their argument, I watch many pundits say, well, they're just they're just outsmarting us at every turn because their strategy is working, and their strategy is frequently better than ours. Well, if we're going to get better at it, we have to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, which is what we're doing.
Yeah. All right. Next, Queer Up the USA. Joe Biden's plan will ensure same-sex couples get back tax benefits. Some married same-sex couples may get retroactive federal income tax refunds if Congress passes the latest version of President Joe Biden's Build Back Better Act. The Bareback Better Act.
Bareback.
The bill,
Isn't that your law?
I'll vote for that one. The bill, a sweeping social and environmental spending plan, would make those who were legally married before 2010 eligible for certain benefits they are now otherwise unavailable. CNBC reports, after the Supreme Court struck down the main part of the Defense of Marriage Act in 2013, allowing the federal government to recognize same-sex marriages, the Internal Revenue Service started letting couples in these marriages file amended tax returns jointly as a couple back in 2010. But under the current version of the Build Back Better bill, the knick-knack paddywhack, same-sex couples married before that date could file amended returns back to the year of their marriage. 5 states offered legally recognized marriages to same-sex couples before 2010: Connecticut, Iowa, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont, as did the District of Columbia. Which I think is great.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
It's great news. And one of the things that I think is great about it is it's not special rights, it's equal rights. It's exactly what a traditional couple would qualify for in terms of filing a joint return. And because our rights were prohibited, they're going back to just reestablish the same rights as for everybody. That's what I think is the big news here. Of course, and we want the money too.
Yeah.
It's never too right. It's never too late to do the right thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's
Okay.
great.
Next, we report on our partnership with the Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We are broadcasting from our permanent site here at Sunshine in supporting that partnership. Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ plus religious live broadcast in the world, as more than 30,000 watch every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Watch this.
I'm Mayra Hidalgo Salazar, the Deputy Executive Director of the National LGBTQ Task Force. We are the world's largest civil rights organization, and we are stronger when all of us stand together. That's why Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Well, we're going to finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus Flash News.
LGBTQ plus Flash News. Bonjour. Now start your engines as RuPaul Drag Race France is announced. Oh my gosh, this is really fabulous. RuPaul Drag Race is headed to France for its next international spin-off. According to World of Wonder, the production company behind the Emmy Award-winning franchise, Drag Race, will be opening its workroom doors to French drag talent. In a tweet, they said casting has officially begun for @Drag Race
France.
_ France, and it's actually @Drag Race _ FR. In case anyone wants to really know. Okay, if you have the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to become France's next drag superstar. Apply today. Coming soon. Full availability. TBA.
Don't you love the announcement where they include TBA after it? And also, by the way, World of Wonder, you could have spent a little more money in your branding logo of just using the same drag race except turning the A into the Eiffel Tower. Come on, guys. Come on. And girls.
Original.
I love it. I love it. I think it's great.
All right, and Greg, we're going to move on to another flash news.
LGBTQ plus flash news. GOP politicians try to shut down a small-town LGBTQ support group. Here's what happened. Fulton County, Pennsylvania's community library is host to an LGBTQ plus group's bi-weekly meeting. This has upset 2 members of the county commission. Fulton County Library Director Jamie Bramley said, quote, "There's really no other place for that community to meet in the county, to have a safe, comfortable meeting place," end quote. Already working on a shoestring budget after their funding had been severely cut, the library had requested an extra $3,000 to their measly $15,000 annual budget. But when a flyer advertising the support group to the county's minuscule number of queer residents was brought to their attention, the 2 men denied the request. They accused the librarians of supporting hate groups. Commissioner Randy Bunch told the local newspaper, quote, "If we support them, we have to support Proud Boys and Black Lives Matter," end quote. Commissioner Stuart Ulsh asked, "Do we want Muslims moving into our county?" end quote. Emily Best, a local activist and former Democratic candidate for the state Senate, started a GoFundMe to raise the money the library needed. Over $21,000 has been donated to the library so far. It's not like these guys have even stepped foot in a library before.
Books.
Right.
What do you think, Rajee?
I mean, I don't really have much to say on
Yeah,
this.
it's ridiculous. You know, one of the standards of hate is, do you want Muslims living in our county? Fill in the blank. Oh, wait, let's take the word Muslims out and insert black people. Let's insert Mormons. Oh, wait, let's insert
Asians,
Jewish people. That's what's going on in this county and that county commissioner.
People don't get it because you know what? It's one of those things where my injustice is a threat to your justice.
I didn't even know they even still had libraries. I mean, they still exist? No, seriously. I mean, I thought everything was online now.
Yeah,
Do people still go to libraries?
They do, and they do, and they're very crucial, especially in our more urban communities and in rural communities where they don't have great internet access and things like that in their homes. So yeah, libraries are still very important, and these are just scare tactics.
So
ban the gays to protect you from the Proud Boys.
They're going for their Wi-Fi to libraries?
Yeah.
You can just go to Starbucks for that, right? Better coffee.
John, what's our next flash?
Up next, LGBTQ plus flash news. Olympics asks sports federations to have greater inclusion for transgender and non-binary athletes. The International Olympic Committee this week recommended that elite sports organizations reevaluate how they include transgender, non-binary, and intersex athletes and determine their eligibility for competition alongside cisgender athletes in a non-binding, wide-ranging update to the organization's previous policies. Now, the IOC's guidelines are not legally binding, and implementation is up to international sports federations, which establish the rules for their sports. Still, LGBTQ plus activist groups and trans and non-binary athletes celebrated the new focus on inclusion and non-discrimination. And it's about time. Sports is for all. And to put them on a platform where they see themselves in their country and then on an Olympic stage is so incredibly important. And it's just about fairness, equality.
Yay, sports.
In 2014, I hosted the Gay Olympics in Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow.
It was an amazing opportunity. And one of the sports events that I hosted was the men's bodybuilding. And there were 2 transgender male bodybuilders competing. I thought it was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, as a trans person, I'm just like ecstatic. I think it's great. I'm waiting for some sort of Olympic game that I can, that these will come in handy. I don't know.
Rajee, you just blinded me. But You know what's great on this news is we talked about this for Tokyo. The largest number of LGBTQ athletes ever in history competed. The largest number of trans athletes competed. And the International Olympic Committee, based in Geneva, is telling all of the international bodies, we want more of this, not less. So they're now following up saying, this is the standard we're setting for the future. I love it.
Absolutely. All right. LGBTQ plus flash news. Trucks in Texas have huge signs. Huge signs saying trans lives are precious. Trucks displaying positive messages like trans lives are precious were driven around Texas state capitol during Transgender Awareness Week in a pointed message about the state's government. After lawmakers in Austin spent a year attacking transgender youth, forcing trans young people, their families, and activists to go to the state capitol time and again to fight misinformation and prejudice. Now the city is getting a positive message about trans people. The online trans and queer healthcare platform Folks Health put the trucks on the streets of Austin with trans positive messages like the one above, as well as protect trans youth. Another message on the trucks is the name of the platform itself.
What do you think, Peter?
I love trucks.
You love trucks.
Anything on a truck is good with me.
Yeah, all right.
No, I mean, just, I'm serious.
You
No,
love trucks?
Yeah, well.
I like some truck drivers.
I think
I
this
like
shows
sex
that
in the back of a truck.
I think this shows that our allies are everywhere, and the more we come together as a community, the more our allies will stand with us, and they're finally more comfortable speaking out.
Yeah.
And let's hope that Beto O'Rourke stands a chance of unseating Governor Scabbett in 2022.
Yeah, I hope that is the outcome. And wait, I'm hearing in my IFB, I don't have an IFB, I'm hearing in my IFB that those trucks are just now leaving Austin. They're heading east on I-10 straight to Florida's capital, Tallahassee.
Wow.
Our way.
Yes, that's what I want.
All right, that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring that bell for updates. Share this news with your friends and your family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups you are a member of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your family and friends.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
And if our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these LGBTQ plus stories, like what you've heard tonight, in motion and sound. And that is the passion of the Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight. Shameless plugs here, including Peter Bisuito and his show coming up in Wilton Manors, John Hayden, Rajee Narine-Singh, and Gregg Shapiro. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now. Sisters, we fly! Backstage footage of Hocus Pocus 2 filming leaks. Yes, Hocus Pocus 2 is currently filming in Newport, Rhode Island. And some footage of a scene filmed just last night has leaked this afternoon. In it, the Sanderson sisters have interrupted a costume contest at Salem Scarefest. And with the spell, Say Ento Pie, the fans will recognize from the first movie the tricky trio enthrall the crowd. They then break into One Way or Another by Blondie before flying off over the crowd.
Well, I'm sure it will be wicked good. I just wish SJP would do a Square Pegs movie. That's all.
We're talking about Hocus Pocus.
I know.
Red.
I know. I miss Square
Hopefully we're gonna
Pegs.
keep showing up. You see them fly off the stage and the tethered wing strings, and somebody's going to get fired for this.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's going to get fired because this is a private set.
Yeah.
Somebody's iPhone video.
Well, I was immediately in when I clicked on it. I'm like, what's going on? You know, like I was a fly on the wall. Like, what's going on here? You know?
Yeah, Bette Midler was doing the lead in the singing, and we wish we could show you the sound of it. It's not very good, because this is definitely pirate, but it's certainly super interesting. So Hocus Pocus, and I love it because it's November and it gets us to think about Halloween for 2022 already. I'm ready. There we go. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire